You're listening to WHRB Cambridge, and this is Naeli. This is TDS, and I'm here today with Questlove, the drummer for The Roots and band leader for Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. Let's get right into things here. I want to know, first off, how The Roots, one of my favorite touring bands, ended up on Jimmy Fallon, staying in the studio. How did that even come to happen? Did Jimmy approach you guys, or was it NBC, or was it you all?
It was a combination of a lot of things. I'll say that I used to be the music supervisor for the Chappelle Show, and during season 2 and season 3, and the co-creator of the Chappelle Show, Neil Brennan, was consulting Jimmy and recommended different bloggers and cutting-edge writers and comedians to collaborate with. And when the meeting was over, he semi-joked and said, it'd be really great if you had The Roots as your late night band. Wouldn't it be great? And they both laughed and sort of dismissed it because they knew that, no band in their right mind would give up their excess life for some sort of normalcy. And then next thing you know, about 3 months later, we're at UCLA. And, he tells the joke of Neil Brennan saying, I dare you to ask The Roots to be your band. And he laughed a little bit, and we laughed a little bit, and he laughed a little bit, and we laughed a little bit. And then we were like, are you serious? And he's like, no. Well, wait, are you seriously considering? And then, it was just one big giant Mexican standoff until about, I'll say 2 months later when we all just put our weapons down and actually took each other seriously. And, for us, we thought it was going to be a retirement move because we had been on the road for 18 years. It had taken a toll on us. Families growing up, we're never home. What a way to sort of be stable and not lose money and expose, yourself to a bigger audience. And it's kind of weird, but the exact opposite happened, and now, more opportunities and more advantages are being presented to us, and this is probably the biggest workload we've ever had.
Yeah, you guys have been doing a lot of really interesting stuff that I certainly wasn't anticipating from a studio band.
Neither was I. A year ago, I was in Jakarta, of all places. My president just got sworn in, and next thing you know, it's like, hey, the deal went through. We got to go to 30 Rock next week, and that's how it happened, really.
Well, you guys have been doing a lot of really interesting collaborations with clips and other musical guests that Jimmy Fallon has had on the show. Are those, I'm assuming they're going to be a regular thing as long as you guys are there. Is that true?
Absolutely. I like that. People think it's like an internship or like an apprenticeship. Like, okay, you guys are just there for a year, right? And then you go back to your regular lives. Nah, we're here for, our contract's for 5 years. Those were ideas initially, but then I guess you could say, I guess you could really say that, one of the benefits of doing the show is that, the actual music artists say, well, we want to perform with The Roots. Will they allow that? Is it cool? So, if anything, we have done very little soliciting. I'll go on record to say that I'm soliciting Sade very hard to come on the show so that we can back her up. But pretty much everyone else that we approach, be it Jimmy Buffett, Christopher Cross, and Michael McDonald, or Q-Tip, has basically said, to us, we want to perform with these guys. So,
because the band is so famous in their own right, do you think that you guys have very much sway, or have you been able to influence who gets booked on the show?
Absolutely. They'll come to us occasionally and say, well, who do you guys want to perform with, that type of thing. Even if we're not performing with them, it's like, well, what do you think of, Regina Spektor? Or what do you think of, Moldy Pizzas or Deer Hoof or the Dirty Projectors? Or sometimes it's like, well, I've never heard of Foreign Exchange. Do you know these guys? And, they often come to us for, opinions, and it's definitely, their ears are open, which is a cool thing. Like, they actually respect our opinion.
What about the musical comedy bits, like slow jamming to the news and stuff? Do you guys, was that your idea? Was that Jimmy Fallon's idea? Was it the writers? Who comes up with that kind of stuff? And do you guys get any say, or do you get to suggest stuff?
Well, Jimmy, if anything, he's more of a musical comedian. I'd say that all the viral highlights of the show, comedy-wise, are based in music. Between, slow jamming and freestyling with the Roots, or him doing like Dave Matthews or Neil Young. I guess, the writers, knowing that Jimmy's a musical comedian, sort of saw it as a point of light. It would behoove them to go with what works. And every time he does something musical, it's funny. So, our Slow Jam in the News is the idea of two of our writers, Bashir Salahuddin and Diallo Riddle. They're sort of like a comedy duo here, and they write a lot of the sketches. But yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence that like all of the funniest moments of the show are musically based, Well,
I don't think it's a coincidence either, seeing as who they've got playing.
Oh, yeah. And, if anything, I think it also shows that we have a sense of humor.
Right.
Because I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that we're so just damn serious all the time. When actually, I probably have the most juvenile sense of humor of all time, ever.
Well, I think we're about to run out of time here, so before we wrap things up, I wanted to ask you a question about How I Got Over, and when that's going to come out, and how being on the show might have delayed it, or maybe is hastening it to our ears?
I guess in short, this is probably the only time that in our entire history that we've ever been in one permanent place. So that's actually introduced a very novel idea that we've never embarked upon in our 18 years, which is a thing called practicing. Songwriting and practicing is something that we've never done as a group, believe it or not, as the Roots. And now that we're in a confined space and we're sort of forced to play with these with each other as musicians, songs are just coming like crazy. So, when we first got there, we were knocking off like 15 to 20 songs a day. We're up to 1,000 songs, 1,000 plus songs now. And, we keep switching and misplacing them. I'll just say that for now. We turned the record in March 31st, and it'll be out, I guess you can say, in July. Actually, 2 albums. We're also producing the Wake Up Sessions with John Legend. So it's the Roots and John Legend combo album, and then How I Got Over.
All right, great. Thank you so much for talking to us.